I think it was Rob Aiken and John second, but John second and Rob was first. Yeah. All right, so we're back in public session. So the ad hoc CEO search committee, we gave a little bit of information. We are pleased to announce that the committee has recommended the nomination and appointment of Marshall Weir as the new CEO of the enterprise, because it's multiple. And with that, I'd like to motion to accept that. And then in a second, with a further piece of information, what I'm going to ask staff to do, if this is obviously accepted, to have staff come through, and next month we would vote on the employment contract and the job description, because we need a month to prepare that information. So kind of a two-part. Okay. Second. Okay. Any other discussion? So it's for nomination of, appointment of Marshall as the new CEO. Congratulations. And then staff will prepare the employment contract and job description, and we vote on that officially next month. Take it on. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Congratulations.
Aye.
If you're waiting an extra month and a half, whatever, but had a process that had to go through. Jay, you've never had to wait so long to get your report. Have you our seat?
Well, again, Chairman, you want me to go through the recommendation?
The food resiliency stuff?
Yeah, I want that.
It's at the very end on your new business, so like if you want to do that now to hit the highlights, but we'll vote on it at the end, if that's okay?
However,
I mean, if you want to go through it, and then unfortunately we may have questions, you have to come back. I mean, it's your call. I don't know if you plan on sitting through the rest of the meeting.
yeah, no, I plan to.
So make it part of your report if you want to go through it. If people have questions, well,
And I was going to be very simple in my presentation because I inundated you with information prior to.
that's fair.
And I'll keep my report very. I know you have a very big agenda today. So, the big thing that we've been doing over the past month is I have been working with our committee with, as I said, the report consists of folks from the ag team at Cornell Cooperative Extension. We've reviewed all of the applications that were received for the Jefferson County Food Resiliency Grant Program Round 2. We had a tremendous amount of applications. I did outline those in the report. 18 were received under value added, and then an additional 32 were received under the ag production. As I indicated in the report, we did move some of those around because some applied for ag production that were really value added grants, and the same happened under value added production. So we did move some of those around. I outlined that in the report. It's exciting to see the interest in this program. We are recommending 19 projects under the value added sector. With those 19 projects, the total amount of grant funds that would be used, and this is a correction from what you received, the small correction. The total amount of grant funds would be $168,043. You'll note that it was $168,045 in what you received from me. There was a little bit of a rounding error that Peggy brought to my attention. So the actual amount is $168,043. Now, under the value added section. Okay, that's the value added section. Okay. Now, the county allocated $100,000 for that sector for round two. We had $68,615 left over from round one. So we'll bring that money in, that $68,615, and use it to cover the rest of the grant application for value added. Okay, so that's how we'll cover all of the value added applications we are recommending to you.
And that might, that pretty well clear.
Yeah. Let's hope that it gets used up completely. Our recommendations will totally utilize the funds that we have available. Under ag production, we are recommending 23 projects to you. The amount, again, there was, excuse me, a little bit of an error, that Peggy thought for me. Thank you very much, Peggy. The actual amount of grant funds you will expend if you approve these is $386,159. Okay, that's $386,159. $368,159 in grant funds. So $368,159. Okay, and let me get myself back here. Now, the county allocated $500,000 for ag production. As the committee reviewed the grants, and as I outlined in the report, we had a ranking procedure that we used, and we felt that any grants that did not receive 50 points or more in the ranking should not be funded. Okay, and that's, you know, recognizing that we had the funds to fund them, but we just could not feel comfortable in recommending to you that those projects deserve funding. So what we'd like to do is the remaining funds, which would be about $131,000, those remaining funds we would use for round three later this year. Okay. So I probably made it as clear as mud. I do apologize for that. But that is our recommendation for the food resiliency grant, keeping in mind two sectors, value added and ag production. So to continue my report real quickly, when you add all of that up, you add up what we did for round one, with all of those projects that are still active, even though they may have been completed, we still have to monitor those for 5 years, keep our hands on them to see how they're doing. And then with these new projects, and you add those to all of the, like the CWC farms, the dairy projects, all of the projects that we've got going on. Right now, we have 71 true agricultural economic development projects that we are managing. That's pretty phenomenal. It's neat to see this. You know, I've been doing this for 23 years, and we really have grown our activity. That's in addition to all the other stuff like the dairy parade, seminars, and all of that podcast. But it's kudos to you and our team here. We got 71 ag economic development projects that we have no other county. We have a good team here. We have a good team. Not all 71 are the grant program, well, almost. No. We, you know, I keep in touch with all of the grant recipients and try to keep my finger on their pulse to make sure that they're doing what they should be doing. As far as the project. So they're for the extension, pretty close. Mike Knuckles and his team are an integral part of it. And so they are my eyes and ears, and they're more boots on the ground than I am. I unfortunately spend a lot of time here in the office. So they're my eyes and ears, and they know each of the projects. So they help keep me alert to anything that I need to be aware of. So it is a team effort. It is a cooperative project, even though we administer it. It is a cooperative project between our agency or not cooperative.
Those are very few of the city improvements.
Okay.
Some were, but they're all in different counties.
Yeah.
But they're small enough that they're just not. Very well.
Right. And that's the other thing that's neat about this, and it's what we wanted to achieve. We are slowly growing our local food supply. They're in the value added section, I believe it is, there's 2 poultry processing projects, very small. That is something that we need, plus the 3 regular meat processing projects that we did last. Now some of these are gonna fail. I hate to say that, but it is the nature of business and it is the nature of economic development. Some of these projects down the road will not make it. They're small businesses, and that we have to expect that. But we are helping these businesses if they're not already existing, they're getting their feet on the ground. I'll give you an example. Wayne Smith, one of the applicants, he's growing honeyberries. And it's a crop that I think has a lot of potential as a fruit crop here in northern New York. We just sent his stuff down with Farm Bureau, his products down with Farm Bureau to their program in Albany, where they meet with all of the state legislators. Farm Bureau was giving his products out at the reception for all of the state legislators. So through these programs, we're lifting these people up. So
One last question I had was, in the chart, some have asterisks next to the wording.
those are ones we switched over from the other category. So for example, John Bunetta, who is under he is now under ag production. He actually applied under value added processing. Or no, excuse me, he is under value added processing, excuse me. He applied under ag production. He applied for $20,000, but his project is definitely value added. We could not call it an ag production project. So, depending upon your decisions today, I might have to call him and say, here's the situation, John, you applied for ag production. We can't do that, but we can do this. This will be the amount of money you potentially will receive.
You know, if any of these businesses are also doing strategic grants. You may not know that.
Yeah.
It could.
To my knowledge, we are very familiar with these projects. That's part of what we do. To my knowledge, I'm not aware of anybody that's receiving a loan or their project at this point in time. Some of them, you know, like that one I just named, maybe he might need that. So.
Yeah, or under 50, do they have an opportunity around 3 to prove their?
Yes, as long as, and it's one of the things we need to decide, we haven't gotten that far with my conversations today. That additional money, it is under the ag production sector. It was under that 500,000 the county allocated for ag production. So we have to decide and find out if it's possible. Do we keep that money just for ag production? Or do we move it over to value add? So that's, I either want to do one or the other, because to divide that, it's 130,000, that's not a lot of money, and to divide it up between the 2 sectors, we're not able to do either sector just. So we have to make that decision. Does it stay under ag production? Does it go under value added? How do we do? Good question.
I think the count, you know, in previous discussions, counting of categories. So it'll go another round where you give people a chance to come back, strengthen their application or a new apply that maybe ready to apply at the time.
And
Really, when the county originally allocated, I mean, it's a pretty big difference between the allocation. In your opinion, is that the right balance of
we do,
how? I mean, I'm not saying one's more important than the other, but like there's clearly a big difference in the funds available.
we didn't know exactly what to expect, and I actually asked, and Dave got the ag production side a little bit more money, thanks to Dave. We didn't know exactly what to expect. Thought that there'd be a lot more applications for the ag production side. My expectation is based on what happened between round 1 and round 2. Value added side, round 1, we were nervous that we were gonna get enough applications in round 1 for value added. Now, all of a sudden, we've gotten a lot of applications, more than we can fund for value added. I think we'll see the same thing happen under ag production. As word gets out, people will say, oh, I got a project that, absolutely.
Finally,
And actually, we did two rounds, actually, without even, the first round was 400,000, all value added.
Okay.
Second round, 100,000 value
I
added.
neglected to take a look from.
Everything together.
But the funds that are available, I guess, in my 2 cents worth, and you don't know what you have for applications, you could consider the value added. Maybe there are 4 grants with a maximum of $7,500. That'll spend the 31,000, and then there's 100,000 left over for ag production. I mean, so you could provide some balance of equity for both files, because you may get similar applications that they file under ag production. It's a great project, but it fits under value added. And something to consider on how to help all projects that come through. Until you have applications, I think you don't really know
Right.
how to best spend the funds.
Yeah, and because this is still relatively new. Our first year was last year. So especially on the ag production side, you know, it's brand new. And, you know, we got a couple projects that I didn't expect, the dairy farm project. I think they're excellent projects. I didn't expect it. And according to our criteria, I would say we have to consider those projects. We did debate that extensively at our committee meeting. So yeah, it's a learning curve. I think it's been a fantastic learning experience to go through. My only concern is how do we continue it in the future, because it's doing such good things. But yeah, so sending our report very long. I apologize. I said it before. So 2 last things is we have that seminar on March 28th. That's going to be fantastic. If you can possibly make it, please do. David Cole will be a fantastic speaker. All to get a lot out of it. And then the dairy parade, where things are coming along great on that. Very excited. We've already got like 20 entries. Never had that at this time of the year. Fundraising for both programs. We're at about the $14,000 mark. I need to get to 22 by March 28th. So we're working hard on putting together all of the funds to pay for all. So.
Okay, one quick comment I'd say is when it comes to these people, some of them failing, I don't see any of them failing. And the failing is when you spend money and leverage it. It doesn't pay well. Set it down, you're in a hole.
Yeah.
And you can't repay. All right. These are all grants. Some will these people be making product 10 years from now, still selling that product? But in that sense, they never fail.
Yeah.
They don't fail because it was a grant. Will they still be operational? Maybe not, but there's no failure.
And I agree with you. Maybe that failure wasn't the best choice of words, but at the same time, my job is to give you a very realistic expectation of what you might see
2, 3, 4 years down the road. I mean, ultimately, a small business drives the economy, that's probably jobs it's created, but it's also part.
The other thing I would love to see you do, Commissioner, is to such as the unlike any other county in New York State. We owe it to the county board of legislators, our elected officials, county officials, who saw the opportunity and said, do this, right? You should, from a public, in 5 minutes, do a public.
We'll do a prepared statement.
5 minutes, introduction. Bill, would you like to respond to that?
Get talked.
Great idea. April 2nd, what time?
I was just gonna say, I thought you noticed that,
I will send the invite to all of you in case you want to attend, but yes, this,
They should get that report with the numbers of 50. Because it's phenomenal.
we will do that. But if you'd like to be there, love to have you there.
You tell the story. They should get that recognition.
Well, I 100% agree.
Certainly a fun thing. A lot of gratitude there. It's not an easy list. Just from the marketing of it, trying to get Marshall podcast to talk about it. But, and then for non-cooperative extension,
Yeah.
with Mike, Abby, and Amanda, just a ton of work.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, thank you.
With a smile on my face.
What makes Jefferson County unique as relationship with agriculture and the free tourism. Harmony.
anything else for Jay or Jay? Well,
That's enough.
all right, thank you. And we're gonna reserve the vote on the control order in the agenda. Manufacturing.
Jefferson Manufacturers Alliance is.
Excuse me, folks, sorry to interrupt, but I've got to go. So I'll see everyone later.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Sorry for the difficulty in audio.
So we have our next meeting of the Jeff Lewis Manufacturing Alliance, which is what we do jointly with Jeff Lewis County, our counterparts over there. That's gonna be March 22nd at the Hilton. And right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And basically that one's gonna focus on funding sales manufacturers. So we'll have ESD, the workplace, the state apprenticeship program, and workforce development institute, speaking about manufacturers, workforce, help fund expansion efforts, expansion equipment lines, financial support for direct exporting, increase in export, and for
Any questions? Manufacturing and marketing?
Okay, we don't have any grants to approve this month. We did pay out on a couple of grants. As I do every month, I want to make sure that everybody recognizes Joy's incredible work keeping all of these grants straight, and she's doing an amazing job on that. If it's okay, can I do the presentation, the annual report right now? So
Well, you're pulling that up, I'll just add, and there is a lot of work, there is a lot of work. Marshall work as well, but there's getting the contract done, have to do it, place it, do help 1099, report on those grants, getting it here, and filing a regular report.
absolutely. I mean, just the keeping track of who has their agreement, when they are, how much money is left. We get these calls from grantees, asking what's the status of my report, and Joy always has that stuff all ready to go, and I can say, oh, we're waiting on your insurance, your reimbursement request, and you need your receipts and things like that. There is so many little, and it's not overly complicated, but when you're dealing with 200 projects, in total, Joy does a good job. So I'd like to just take a minute to present the annual report to you. We're gonna have printed copies really soon, but I'm gonna share it here. We'll go through this, share screen. Okay, where the. Here, and I'm not going to go through this, go kind of quick here, and we have just so much stuff going on. You know, it follows the same outline that we always have. I think it's easy to read. There will be some changes on the staff things. There's some things on the political side as well in the back. But the meat of the piece is all squared away. Projects on the IDA side, a financial summary, and this is one of the things we're waiting for to get all of this approved. The highlights on the JCLDC, Marketing Council, Advocate Drum, Regional Economic Development Council, and the Alliance. Talks about our branding with Grow with Jefferson County, which has been great. The LDC current projects, including some grant stuff here, manufacturing day, manufacturing growth. We have some picture here with the kids at Great Lakes Cheese, and Fort Drum economic impact. There's a lot of stuff in here. Workforce development, talk about agriculture, of course, and our New York State Small Business School Board Association Champions of Change Award that we received in 2023. And that's hanging out in our front room. The financial summary, civic facilities, really there's not a whole lot there, with the current projects and the financial stuff there. So again, just a quick presentation of what it's going to look like. And thank you for your support. If anybody has any questions, I looked at it. We have a lot of stuff going on with different executive sessions, things like that. So I would like to, if nobody has any questions, but please, if you do have some. Yeah.
You're gonna do a Brendan thing for next meeting?
Yeah.
We'll have it, Brent.
Yes. Is that it for marketing? That's it for marketing.
Okay. Page 142 of our packet, we have the first extension to grant agreement with Community Action Planning Council. It was originally executed in 2022 on April 7th. This is an extension of that agreement, and I guess Dave, if you want to give us a.
Yeah, so originally, I thought it was 24, but we had 23 expiring, I think, that ended. We need to extend the agreement to the end of 24, to extend the fund. This basically says all the other terms of the original agreement stay in place. I did add in there, if you look at under now the where therefore, item 3 and 4 address what we had learned of the deficiencies in the single audit. Basically, 3 says to the CFPB in the agreement, you are a subrecipient, and then 4 says has a subrecipient required by audit for that. So,
Okay. So it's an extension of an existing contract, no new funds, it's just allowing time to exhaust the funds. Correct?
yeah. Okay. And it's been a successful program today so far. Probably about 88 slots in home daycare help and created between the training and or the assistant. Apply. 5 new full-time positions, center-based program. Retaining about 130.
May we have a motion to extend this agreement as presented? Christine, second. Ted, second. Any other discussion or questions? Barring any, all in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? The agreement is extended as, they signed it as extended. Page 144. We also have a child care training contract with JCIDA. This is cohort number 4. It's a memorandum of agreement between Jefferson County Community College and Jefferson County Local Development Corporation dated today. And this is the home-based child care training program. This will take force to May 31, 2025. And again, Dave, I guess give us the clip note version.
So again, you may recall the first training program, but it was cohort 1. That pilot, we then went back to the county, we got a chance to verify on. We've done 2 rounds of training for home-based daycare providers. So far, that's our plan, but because the contract for that training is kind of based on the projected number of trainees. Since participation was lower than expected, there's some funds left over. So we're using the remaining $18,000 to do another training program.
May I have a motion to accept this, cohort 4 agreement? So presented, Bill. Second. Please. That'd be Lisa. Any other discussion or questions? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? The agreement is. Give me the motion page to sign the agreement. Page 151 and 152, I think that is, our folks on 1 round 2.
Yeah, you have the report there, there's starting to work on the tourism one, kind of exciting. Finally. So, tag one. Here in the next few days. Actually for a week or so.
Next month.
What's the pool of money left, and what's the pool of money we have for tourism category?
There was,
500,000.
We have much of it in today, roughly.
we've dispersed, yeah, it's right on there, 31,669. People are just starting this project. A lot of them. So, I'm contacted a few of them, actually. So,
Just in the last 2 days, we've had so many calls with people because of the nice weather saying, okay, well, let's get this thing started. We'll just wanted to throw that up.
yeah, there's a lot of administrative things that go behind that, as far as making sure they have actual more of the documentation. So,
Of the applicants in the hopper right now, is that fund gonna get wiped out with the applicants? in the
yeah,
hopper
I
right now?
mean, we've already approved 458,000, so we're very close.
That's pretty well done, you know.
Yeah.
And well, my intent was, under the contract, we can use some of the ARPA funds for our direct costs. I'll probably take out of the flex program, like for our costs. Audit. But we're not taking anything off the top of the thing for administrative costs.
Any other questions from the ARPA? I doubt, but I'll ask Joe, and this is the council this meeting. Okay. That moves us to page 153. I'll ask for a better explanation from, Lyle or Joy on this, but I'll read it first. Resolution number 03.07.2024.02, authorized charge off of administrative service billing in-kind services. CFO recommends charging off $294,697.90 for the administrative services billing and kind services pending 12/31/23. This was brought up in the audit and, before I have the board and stuff, so this motion, while if there's anything to add more than what's said.
Not enough money to pay it.
Okay.
That does it all.
Okay. With the explanation and my reading of the motion, they have a, motion to accept the resolution. No. I heard Kent and Rob, okay. So we have a first and second, any other discussion or questions? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? The resolution carries.
Aye.
That leaves us last to, we don't, it's not in our packet, but it was emailed and Jay went through this. The recommendation for round 2 food resiliency. We heard there are a couple minor changes to the dollar value. So for the value added There are 19 projects. The amount is $168,043. Are there any other questions regarding any of these 19 projects or the sums that was recommended to award the grant? If there are none, I would ask the motion to move these projects.
Second.
John, any other questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so those 19 are awarded as recommended. The next one is the ag production, that was called it? Ag production, 23 project, a little bit bigger adjustment, down. $68,159 total of the 23 worthy projects as recognized by our team. These projects and awarding. So, have you done, have you received some separate discussions? Barring any, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
The amount carried, $368,159. That's it, unless there's any other meeting business. Motion to adjourn, this meeting? Bob first, Ken second, all in favor, aye? So we're gonna go, thank you, everyone, we're gonna go back to, open the audit. The privilege of the floor and is there any? The minutes. Minutes were presented. And if they've been reviewed, most acceptable to minutes. Oh, the discussion, are there any, all in favor to accept the minutes? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are accepted. We've already done our audit report. So that moves us to page 67. We have our meeting resolution. Paragraph. Okay, page 67 of our board packet, annual meeting resolution 03.07.2024.01. Annual meeting resolutions of the Jefferson County Industrial Development Agency, the agency including the acceptance of the annual audit, re-adopting certain policy standards and procedures related to the public authority of the Act of 2005, as amended by Chapter 506 of the laws of 2009 of the state of New York, election of board of officers, appointing board committee positions, appointment of agency staff, and related. And also prepare report of part at the end of the audit, and they're part of this whole process. Do I have a motion to accept the annual meeting resolution as read? So your first. Second. Bill, second. Any other questions? All in favor, Mr. Wolf?
Steve,
Yes.
Conference,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
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 It's a majority of carries. Thank you. That leads us to consent for page 145. I'll ask you to present this in his absence. So looking at year to date is negative, 117,000 and some change. Lost net income over expenses. We did have the current month slightly, less than the previous month, clearly pilot fees is the big driver for the IDA to recognize none in the very near future, but, they're the big drivers, for the income side. Having said that, our expenses are, well in control and probably slightly under control. That's positive. The balance sheet, from our audit report, we had some decreases in our cash position. Trade loans and programs and things of that nature. Purchase order. Significant amount of money to be deployed to help companies. So I think it's important to recognize that. The
392,000 went as our asset, our balance sheet.
I can't hear you.
The DASNY reimbursement, 92,000.
Yeah, that's
That goes
our
in the
cash
balance.
and 320, whatever.
Okay, moving to page 151, our the various loan programs we have. There really hasn't been any significant change. One is, you mentioned, I think last month you mentioned it was going to go to default, or just the month that we determined it's going to default.
I think we've determined it's going to be.
I can't remember if we determined that last month or this month.
I sent a note back that that max, 500 months later, saying you get back. So
Okay.
we need to be current by March 15th.
Okay, all right, so we've got that, and, there are two other, one is usually 1 or 2 months, is that, they're also timing issues?
I mean, Painter Lakers, Joy worked with her and I think she's moving.
Oh, yeah, there's people contact, it's just been very slow.
That's half of it, communication and acceptance.
You know,
Go ahead, go.
while we're talking, still have it's also in the audit. We still have that note from Fred Rogers due about $17,590. He passed away a couple years ago.
Yeah.
We let it rest. Maybe we get back to the state. I don't know. We want to try to write that off at some point.
There is no estate. He died in a nursing home. He made payments for years and that. It really needs to be written.
Give him like the 9% interest. Yeah, he spent that for 3 years. It might be time to write that off.
We should, when we get around to doing the, bad debt calculation, well, not that that's bad debt, but if we do need to write it off.
I think we need to write it off.
Okay. If you wanna,
Write
get
it
the
down.
proper resolution for next month, we can, put that on next month's board agenda to, do a proper resolution.
Yeah.
The, other loans are all in good standing and nothing significant stands out on the, checks in or checked out. So with that, I make a motion to accept the treasurer's report as presented. Do you have a second? Second. Bill? Okay. Any other questions? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Or carries. The, Paul's not here, so I don't know if anyone has anything to offer for the alternative energy committee. I don't think it's.
I did talk to Paul briefly yesterday. He wanted me to pass along that it was the bottleneck of like state to amend their site. There were two, and I guess the states wanted them to combine one. And Paul wanted me to pass along that was approved, 140 megawatt amendment or whatever. Probably let me pass that off. That's all. And come out of the state fighting.
Okay, all right.
That's all I know.
One, thing that related, I'm on a committee in the town of Henderson. We're looking at our solar law. It's under moratorium right now, and learning a lot from this agency. One of the things that we're focusing on, and it's happened in one other, municipality in the state, we're looking at putting in a solar overlay district to actually select and pull out the concrete soil. We actually have farmers, industry, and residents who are pulling out the concrete soil pipe. solar is only allowed in area 40, which are our farming districts. We're actually creating a topo map and a soil map. And we're pulling out all the areas and say, don't build here, please build there. And I think it's a lot of what this county's done, what we're doing for this agency. And, I know Dave's supposed to talk in some of our committees soon. So just letting you know, it's been helpful to learn from other people, different approaches, and we're taking it as, I'm calling it like staging our community, treating it like a real estate transaction. We want to highly promote certain areas, please build here, they're ready. And so we're looking at it in reverse versus being surprised and having somebody come in and building maybe where it's not publicly accepted or super pleasing to a lot of people. So it's just letting you know that that's going on, and maybe this will take root and be improved elsewhere in the city and the county.
That, are you gonna take into account transmission capability?
We talked about that, and we said it exists today, when it's attended, which is true. And the capabilities of, like one of our committee members of our large farm operator, he talked about mobile battery transmission, which exists in Florida. They literally bring tractor trailers with batteries to places and then move them. Not that that's the safest thing to do, but we talked about transmission, we talked about right away. So right now, we're taking away the top 3 soil because we determined soil category 3, if you start filing in, it's adequate farm. So we're taking 1, 2, 3 classes away, and then we're gonna look at topo, just, obviously not do this type of thing if it's facing in the wrong direction. And we're sorting out also, one of the primary character areas in our community is the beachhead, with regards to Lake Ontario and protecting certain things. So we're taking away very obvious things and seeing what's left over. So we'll know more on next meeting, March 14th. And I know Jay has been asked to speak about physical stuff. So we're trying to work with the county helping us to, county planning, and obviously gonna take, access to the, county ag coordinator, and so we're gonna try to do it right. Other failures, but.
That brings the community together, instead of tearing it apart. Do it the other way, and it's what it's torn apart.
Well, we're trying to take the surprise back. I think if you take the community and say, these are the selected areas, that's what zoning is supposed to be, select areas where certain things can be built. And it got a little awry because the state is very overreaching in regard to anywhere is okay. And I think when they have that negative message, it empowers, it imbalances the development. Yeah.
Sounds like your model.
We hope so. I mean, we just learned, part of it is what the county did with regards to the distance conservation of the pilot by taking the top 12 districts away. I mean, we're not, planning has nothing to do about pilots and things of that nature, but we are looking at what development is allowed in certain districts, and we already have what's called a corridor overlay to preserve certain scenery. And we talked about why not just develop the solar overlay. So we'll see where this goes. Again, one of the people on our board is a GIS operator for county, so he's very, very adept at creating these maps for us.
But the end game will be, the key to that will be, at the end of the day, you will adopt new zoning laws that
Yeah.
everybody's
Yeah.
for.
So part of it is also, probably most communities, the zoning didn't contemplate the size of the small little 1-panel, 2-panel thing. And it also didn't contemplate maybe larger transmission or battery storage. So those are things we still have to grapple with. I will tell you the other thing that we're highly, highly, highly prioritizing is on-site generation of farm. Farming in our community, Henderson, is also it's very rich soils and very prevalent. So we are highly prioritizing on-site generation with obviously a revenue stream of selling off-site when you don't need to, but we're trying to take into regard of not so much developers coming in, but to help the existing community.
And you don't need infrastructure. I mean, that's all.
We'll see. The power transmission lines in the town of Henderson and the size of the port. I think it definitely deserves to be upgraded in the area. The Route 3 corridor and the 178 corridor are good, but there's a lot of what's lacking in the
Area circuit breaker, you gotta have 3 phase. Without 3 phase, you ain't going nowhere.
Okay, so just sorry for that digression, but I thought it was related and if that resonates with somebody else's community, you get in touch with me and kind of keep you abreast of what's going on. Dave Converse, do you want to try to lead the loan review discussion?
Rabbi, audio is so poor, it's hard to hear and everything. Maybe you or John could,
Okay.
lead that. Thank you.
That, I'll just quickly summarize it. We have a resolution anyway. So the loan review committee met on February 28th. We had, one order of action, Sales Bus Garage LLC, from the city loan fund. It was ultimately recommended to move this to the full board. It's for $250,000 to renovate and expand purchase equipment. Mr. Hale came in and, went through it. Really identified, what the uses of the funds would be for and how it would improve the existing infrastructure, which in his opinion hadn't been upgraded in many years, I think was maybe a way of saying it. So it's gonna actually make that property, much more viable, going forward, and the business much more viable. And the committee recommended this to the full board. And I think this might have been corrected in the application. There was a question about the number of existing jobs, and part of it was their whole enterprise. And I think we identified most of them were within the city.
So we confirmed or retained the 20 jobs that
Correct.
the city and creating another 10.
Yes, so, there were, because the application listed 24. And so 20 in the city with an additional 10 in the city over 3. That's part of the application, and that was, that's in the updated, resolution. John, Christine, Dave, can't hear us very well, but anything to add that we didn't cover?
No, it's
Okay,
Summarized quite well in the minute.
yeah. Okay,
One thing I like seeing about this kind of a program is it's got the Watertown Trust involved, the city's on board, counties doing their contribution, private banking is putting up substantial money. It's the perfect match. Great. It's a great partnership. I love to see this.
okay, so that moves us to page 157 of our board packet is resolution number 03.07 204.02. Resolution for authorizing the city loan fund to Hales Bus Garage LLC. Whereas Hales Bus Garage LLC has requested the agency a loan in the amount of $250,000 to be used to renovate, expand, and purchase equipment at 1067 Marble Street, Watertown, New York. Staff recommended a $250,000 city loan at 6% interest for the first 12 months, 15-year amortization, 10-year call. And then we'll review the interest rate after 5 years. Full participation loan with Watertown Local Development Corporation. WLDC will be the lead agency, and we've already emphasized there are 20 current employees within the city with a plan to add 10 more over the next 3 years. We went through the collateral and other items during the meeting, and they're all very satisfactory to staff. And with that, we have the resolution to approve this. There's one contingency, contingent upon approval of the LDC and Watertown City.
We have approval.
Thank you. And I think LDC is meeting next week, or they're already approved, okay. Marketing. We have a resolution, do we have a motion to accept it? John,
Second.
okay, Dave Converse, we'll give you the second on that. Any other discussion or comment?
Are they taking in the sales tax?
Yeah, we already approved that.
Yeah, that was,
That's right.
I had that question too, we let you down, and said that's. This is. Okay, all in favor, aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion, resolution carried, excuse me. Okay, I guess as threatened, unfinished business, we have a couple items which probably fall under the purpose of executive session, so, there are three items, to discuss potential and acquisition, sale, or lease of real property and personal and corporate financial data. I would ask a motion to go into executive session. There are three totally independent, unrelated items. So, and I should say staff can remain public at the.
I'm sorry, Rob, can you repeat the purpose?
The purpose is to discuss the potential acquisition, sale, or lease of real property and personal and corporate financial data.
Is it separate?
Yeah, they're three unrelated items. They actually all fall under this category, so we're trying to group them.
So there's two reasons for it.
Yeah, there's two reasons, but there's three purposes. So
Yeah,
possibly on one of them. The other ones are just discussion.
All right.
Obviously, no action in the executive session. So we had a first, and we have a second. Okay, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.